Hey friends, it's Laura. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I've got a scrapbooking process video for you. And in this layout, I am going to be scraplifting Rachel Tallman, who is on the Wild Hair Kids design team with me. And I am going to be using my August Wild Hair Kits to make this scrapbooking layout. And if you want to see everything that came in my kit this month, you can check out the unboxing video also on my YouTube channel. Yeah, so many gorgeous things. You can see all these gorgeous blue colors here. I cannot wait. So I intentionally chose these photographs of my dog and then one of my friends' babies who loves dogs, and every time he sees my dog, he walks over to her and like plops right down and sits on top of her, and it's like the cutest darn thing. So I'm using those two photographs because he's wearing a blue jumpsuit in them, and I thought that matched all the blues that came in my kit this month really well. And you can see that layout. I kind of showed you on my phone on the screen there what that looks like, and I loved Rachel's layout that I'm scraplifting for this. It was a series of tags that she had running down the middle of her page. She had a tag on top, a tag on bottom, and then a black and white photograph in the middle. So I thought I would do something similar. I am creating some handmade tags here. I found a tag from my stash of tags that I really liked the size and shape of to work with these photographs and on this 8.5 by 11 layout. And so I'm using that as a template to cut out some of the pattern papers from my kit this month into tags that I can use. And I really like how that turned out. You can see I chose quite a skinny tag there because instead of using one photograph like Rachel had used in her layout, I am using two photographs. So because this was only an 8.5 by 11 layout and not a 12 by 12 one, I had to be really conscious of how much height I was working with on the page. So yeah, I chose one of these thinner tags and I'm going to punch some holes in it once I cut those out of my patterned papers. And that worked out really well. I really love the pattern papers I chose for this. I think I realize here that I need to do paint splatters. Nope, not yet. I'm going to start embellishing. So I've got this 6x6 paper that came in my kit, and it's got all these cute little phrases on it, and so I cut one of those out to put on one of my tags. And I show the layout that Rachel had created that I was scraplifting on my phone several times throughout this video, so you can just find one of those times and pause if you want to see what her layout looks like, or you can check her out on Instagram or YouTube. I love her layouts, and she is just filled with so much creative inspiration, and I love all of her projects that she makes. And this layout that I'm scraplifting in particular was one of my absolute favorites that she had made, and I was so excited to use it as inspiration here. So you can see I'm creating a photo mat for my photos here with some different patterned papers. I used the tag on top there, the 6x6 patterned paper that I had cut that out of. I also used that to back both of my photographs and pull some of those pinks from the top of the page and that top tag down to where my photographs were, because this page does not have a lot of pink on it, so I just wanted to pull that down a little bit further. I guess Claire's tongue has some pink on it. But other than that, there's not a whole bunch of pink in this layout. And then I realized she had paint splatters around her tags. She had some really gorgeous black paint splatters, and I really love paint splatters on a layout. I think they're so fun, and they add just like this artistic feel to them. So at this point, before I adhere my tags and my photographs down to the page, I'm going to take everything off of the page, and I'm going to add some dark blue and some black paint splatters. And that's a pretty quick and easy process. You can see I just grabbed a cap full of water from my water bottle, and I added that to each of the caps of my paint there, and that's enough to create this nice and liquid acrylic water blend that makes really nice little droplets on your page, and I love that. And it's a lot cheaper than enamel dots and a lot cheaper than like the Nuvo drops and all of that. Acrylic paint is so cheap. And yeah, I love that method for creating paint splatters and just that kind of mixed media type of feel. But don't worry, I will end up adding enamel dots to this page in the end because those are fun too. So I grabbed one of the puffy stickers here that was a frame. I couldn't see myself using this at any other point in time, and I wanted to bring some more dark blue onto those tags. So I used that to frame the quote that I had cut out of that 6x6 pattern of paper, and then I cut all the excess paper from that quote off, and I really like how that turns out. It looks like its own little embellishment there, and it's super cute. And then I also added a light blue quote arrow down to the bottom tag, and I think it says something like, "This brought me so much joy." And then the only thing I'm adding to this page that was from my stash instead of from my monthly kit are these black phrases, these black puffy phrases. Those were from my stash, and Rachel had used them in her layout, and I really loved the way that they looked. And this month I did not receive any alphabets or phrase stickers in my wild hair kit because I specifically asked not to get any alphabets. I've been trying to work really hard on using up some of my alphabets because my thicker stash is getting out of control. So the last few months I've usually asked not to receive any alphabets. So I did have to pull some from my stash to get those black puffy subtitles or titles down onto my page, and I just love the way that that hand scripted puffy black word looks, and I'm going to add a few more to the page too, I think. And yeah, loving how it's all coming together. I'm grabbing some of these Pink Fresh Studio, I believe. No, this one's Pink Paisley. I grabbed a Pink Paisley sticker with a blue flower on it, and I add that to the top tag, and I thought that added a really nice girly touch up there and brought some more blue up there because the bottom tag is very blue and the top tag is like blue and white and gray and pink. So I wanted to add a little bit more blue up there. And then you could see that I had put the word love from that same sticker pack up on that tag too, but I decided to take it off and did not end up going with it. I moved it further down next to one of my photographs there, and I really love how that looked. I'm going to layer it up with one of these puffy phrase stickers again. I'm just going to use the same pack to put a few different words onto my page. And here's where I start double-sided adhering everything down to my page because I felt really good about the direction it was headed in and loved how everything was looking. So I added my tags and my photographs down to my page. That way I could start layering all my embellishments up on top and things were not going to shift around or get messed up. So I'm loving how it's looking. I used this opportunity to use some of the words that I otherwise might have had difficulty using from this pack. So the word giggles, not only is it super appropriate because the baby in the photograph loves dogs and just gets so smiley and giggly and laughing every time he sits on a dog, but I also knew I would have a difficult time using that word besides in a layout of like a baby because giggle is not a word I really use a lot. I prefer like smile or laugh. So I did that, and then I also added the word wish to the bottom. Again, that was another word that I didn't really see how I would end up using in another layout, and I found a way to tie that in with the journaling that I end up doing on this page about how I wished I had more moments like this and that I could just capture this feeling forever and the joy and all of, the wonderfulness of seeing your dog be so accepting of the love placed on them by the cutest babies ever. So yeah, loving that and loving the memory and super happy that I'm documenting this. So I really want to embellish that top tag there. I've added a couple of puffy and flat sticker hearts around my page in both blue and black colors. I added a heart sticker to my top tag in the top left-hand corner of my tag there, and then I also added a few phrase stickers to that top one, and then I think, there's another sticker here that I I kind of want to use on that tag, and it's this one here that I'm pulling off. It's got a heart, and then it's got a phrase banner that says the good life running through it, and I thought that would look really good on my page too, but then it would overpower everything else that was already going on. So instead of using it, what I decided to do was to cut it up, and that way it would be like a smaller dose and a lot easier to use. So I cut the phrase out and I put the phrase on my top tag, and then it had like a heart made out of different florals as the background for that phrase, and I cut apart all those flowers from it, and I'm going to layer them up here by my bottom tag, and that's really awesome. You can see I really try hard to balance here. That amazing up at the top is a little bit to the left, but mostly in the middle, and then the phrase giggles is on the right hand side of my page, and then the word wish is on the left hand side, so there's a little bit of triangular bouncing back and forth that balances the page. And then I had that blue flower sticker up on the top right hand corner of my top tag, and then I added it to the top left hand corner of my bottom tag. That way I kind of get the same elements reflected on opposite corners or sides of my page, and I find that that brings a lot of balance to it. I almost always do journaling in all of my layouts, and I don't think Rachel had any journaling on the page that I scrap lifted from her, and instead she did a hand doodled border around the edges, which I super love, and it's so cute, and I love including those on a lot of my pages. But I was working with such little real estate here, and I already had so much going on the page, I couldn't think of another way if I did a hand doodled border that I could add journaling to the page without it looking crazy busy and overwhelming for me. So instead of doing the hand-drawn border, I did a border made from my journaling, and I really love how that turned out. You can see the close-ups here. Everything is just so beautiful. This is one of my all-time favorite layouts I think I've ever made. I just love the colors and the feeling and the photographs and everything about it, and I loved my wild hair kit this month, and I loved the scrapbook layout I scrap lifted from Rachel Tallman. Everything is just so gorgeous, and I love it. I hope it inspires you. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Follow me down below, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Patreon. I will link it down below if you want to see how I use up my kits every single month and learn my absolute favorite and best techniques for getting scrappy and documenting your stories. You can check out my Patreon channel, or if you just want to subscribe to one of the lower tiers and support this YouTube channel, seriously, your support means everything, and I am so grateful. So check that out. I will link it down below, and I hope you enjoyed this process video. Bye!